Welcome to another episode of the Piano Ninja Tricks podcast. Hi, I'm Lisa Spector, your piano ninja, helping everything become easier for you at the piano so you feel like a piano ninja. I want to talk today about turning a 20-minute practice session into an hour's worth of productivity. So how do you do that? Well, when I had if you've been with me for a few months, you know I went through a shoulder fracture the first quarter of the year, and recovery was intense, and I couldn't hold up my arm to play the piano for more than 20 minutes. At first, it was 5 minutes, I think, and then I gradually built up to 20 minutes, and it's doing great now, and I'm out of pain, and it's increasing range of motion, and it's all good. But what I noticed is how much I was getting done in those 10 to 15 to 20 minute practice sessions. And how did I do that? Well, one of the main things that you want to avoid when you have 20 minutes is feeling rushed. One of the best tips I ever got from any teacher was from John Perry. When he said this, it just hit me over the head. It just has stuck with me for so many years, which is don't ever practice in a hurry. And I didn't ask him why. I still could do that, but I imagine that here's the reason, is because excuse me, when you practice in a hurry, you practice with rushed and oftentimes unknown practice habits. So let's say I had 20 minutes, and let's say I'm working on the fourth ballade of Chopin. It's like a 10-minute piece, I think, or so. And okay, so it's half of the 20 minutes. And then I'm just going to rush through it to get to all the sections fast. I don't want to do that. I'm going to have a much more productive practice session if I take one section of that ballade. It could be the coda, it could be the opening, it could be fingering on the middle section, and I really become intentional about practicing with smart practice habits, which are piano ninja tricks. So we've talked here before about using cyclical rhythm as my first basic piano ninja trick to keep the rhythm always going, and reinforcing what goes well, and it's like a button you're sewing on, you're strengthening and strengthening and straightening. So to do that, you need small sections in lots of repetition with reinforcement. And that way, not only are you getting a lot out of that practice session, but when you practice that way, you don't need to practice that way forever. That's why you can make a lot out of 20 minutes and not feel rushed. It's a little bit like if I am traveling or life situation where I just know I don't have many hours to sleep. And you know how you can kind of panic when you know you have to catch an early flight and your alarm's going to go off at 4 a.m. and it's midnight, and I've done it many times. I don't know if you have, but you can do one of two things. You can say, oh my God, I only have 4 hours to sleep. How am I going to do this? How am I going to get through tomorrow? Or you could say, I am going to take the most luxurious long nap. And it's a totally different feeling because you're not stressed over the shortage of time. You're actually feeling the expansion of time. So when you're at the piano and you're practicing in 20 minutes, you can do the same. Instead of saying, oh my God, I only have 20 minutes, I got to get through all this. Instead of doing that, saying, I have 20 minutes of leisurely, intentional, smart practice time where I'm going to make the most of it. So let's say it's a section you're struggling with pedaling. So you're just going to work on pedal. You're just going to work on that in that section. And you work on it so intentionally that you don't need to then the next day work on it again. Or maybe you might, if it's like a new fingering or something like that, you might need one other time you practice it, but it's not continuous forever that you need that amount of time. That's why the 20 minutes can override an hour. And the other thing is, oftentimes you might get fatigued. If you're practicing an hour, you might get mental fatigue. If you're really practicing well, around 45 or 50 minutes. So you're at 20 minutes, you can stay really sharp and really intentional with your practice habits by choosing a small section. So even if you have a big program you're working on, you have 4 big works, never feel like you have to get to everything. That doesn't want to be your goal at all. Every practice session has intentionality, so you might have a piece of music you're working on, a Bach prelude and fugue, a Bach suite, let's say, and okay, I'm just going to work on that, and I have 20 minutes. The Bach suites maybe about 8 minutes, 10 minutes without repeats, and I'm just going to play through it. That's all. I'm going to just play through it. I'm going to just, check my memory or something like that. I'm going to see where the weak spots are that I need to work on tomorrow when I have more time. So you might want to write those down and then work on them later. But again, whatever your intentionality is around that practice session, and that's where you really want to focus on practicing less and not practicing everything so you can accomplish more. I promise you it works. So this whole shoulder recovery time, that's what I was doing. I was practicing in 20-minute sections. I was learning some demanding left hand only music also. So sometimes I would do I think what happened when I was like, I could only do 10 minutes using my right arm, so I would do 10 minutes hands together and 10 minutes hands left hand, and I could do more left hand alone, but I remember those 20-minute times where I really got the most out of that 20 minutes, and I know that you can too. So if you'd like more on this topic, I have a free gift for you when you go to lisaspector.com/practice. It's a really short checklist on how to have hours worth of progress in a 20-minute practice session. And again, it's lisaspector.com/practice. It's free, and it's a checklist and then a series of short emails, and you'll be on your way to making an hour's worth of progress in 20 minutes. It's also a really fun way to practice, because once you start doing this, you realize if you had, let's say you only had 20 minutes a day, that's fine. But let's say you have several 20 minutes a day. Do you know how much you could get done if you had 20 minutes a day? That's why when I did this, when I played the Chopin F major waltz a couple weeks ago on Instagram, I posted my practicing of it when Instagram doesn't allow you that much time, so I described what I was doing in 3 20-minute practice sessions to relearn that piece that I hadn't played in over 30 years, to relearn it in an hour. I am certain that if I sat down for 1 hour total at one block, I wouldn't have been able to learn it and retain it the way I did by practicing it in 20-minute sections. And I had planned to do 20-minute 3 consecutive days, and then my schedule didn't allow it. It was 20 minutes over 10 days or so. So it was like 20 minutes on day 1 and 20 minutes on day 5 and 20 minutes on day 10, something like that. And I retained it because I used these piano ninja tricks where I'm doing small sections of repetition and cyclical rhythm and reinforcing. So look forward to helping you with your 20-minute practice sessions. I think you'll find them really, really fun. So back to the piano for me. I'm going to take off my piano gloves so it gets a little easier with closing with my podcast closing piece, the Chopin F minor Etude, Opus 25, number 2, with my finger sleeve.